Archbishop Viagano to President Trump. He says, and I quote, "A global plan called the Great Reset is underway. Its architect is a global elite that wants to subdue all of humanity, imposing coercive measures with which to drastically limit individual freedoms and those of entire populations. In several nations, this plan has already been approved and financed. In others, it is still in an early stage." End quote. So these are, again, quotes from Archbishop Viagano in a newly released letter to President Donald Trump, available at LifeSite News. Here are more of the highlights. The purpose of the Great Reset, he says, is the imposition of a health dictatorship. He adds that the renunciation of private property and adherence to a program of vaccination against COVID-19 and COVID-21 promoted by Bill Gates with the collaboration of the main pharmaceutical groups. He says that beyond the enormous economic interests that motivate the promoters of the Great Reset, the imposition of vaccination will be accompanied by the requirement of a health passport and a digital ID, with the consequent contact tracing of the population of the entire world. He adds that those who do not accept these measures will be confined in detention camps or placed under house arrest, and all their assets will be confiscated. Now, of course, this sounds too incredible to believe. However, he admits that. He says, "Mr. President, I imagine that you are already aware that in some countries, the Great Reset will be activated between the end of this year and the first trimester of 2021. Until a few months ago," he says, "it was easy to smear as conspiracy theorists those who denounced these terrible plans, which we now see being carried out down to the smallest detail." He adds that no one up until last February would ever have thought that in all of our cities, citizens would be arrested simply for wanting to walk down the street, to breathe, to want to keep their businesses open, to want to go to church on Sunday. Yet now it is happening all over the world. Now get this. He has a very important message for the president. He says, in sacred scripture, St. Paul speaks to us of the one who opposes the manifestation of the mystery of iniquity, the kathekon that you can read about in 2 Thessalonians 2, 6-7. Archbishop Viagano says, in the religious sphere, this obstacle to evil is the church, and in particular, the papacy. And in the political sphere, it is those who impede the establishment of the New World Order. He says, and this is very important, as is now clear, the one who occupies the chair of Peter has betrayed his role from the very beginning in order to defend and promote the globalist ideology. He is instead supporting the agenda of the deep church, who chose him from its ranks. Mr. President, adds Archbishop Viagano in his letter to the president released today, Mr. President, you have clearly stated that you want to defend the nation, one nation under God, fundamental liberties and non-negotiable values that are denied and fought against today. It is you, dear President, who are the one who opposes the deep state, the final assault of the children of darkness. For this reason, adds Archbishop Viagano, it is necessary that all people of goodwill be persuaded of the epical importance of the imminent election, not so much for the sake of this or that political program, but because of the general inspiration of your action that best embodies in this particular historical context that world, our world, which they want to cancel by means of lockdown. Your adversary, Mr. President, and this is to the president from Archbishop Viagano, your adversary is also our adversary. It is the enemy of the human race, he who is a murderer from the beginning. Archbishop Viagano concludes his letter this way. Around you are gathered with faith and courage those who consider you the final garrison against the world dictatorship. The alternative is to vote for a person who is manipulated by the deep state, gravely compromised by scandals and corruption, who will do to the United States what Jorge Mario Bergoglio is doing to the church. Unbelievably powerful words from Archbishop Viagano. He adds, and yet in the midst of this bleak picture, this apparent unstoppable advance of the invisible enemy, an element of hope emerges. The adversary does not know how to love. He says this great reset is destined to fail because those who plan to do it do not understand that there are still people ready to take to the streets to defend their rights, to protect their loved ones, to give a future to their children and grandchildren. Mr. President, you are well aware that in this crucial hour, the United States of America is considered the defending wall against which the war declared by the advocates of globalism has been unleashed. Place your trust in the Lord. Strengthened by the words of the Apostle Paul, I can do all things in him who strengthens me. For LifeSite News, this is John Henry Weston. May God bless you, and be sure to go to LifeSite now to check out the full letter from Archbishop Viagano to President Donald Trump.